All right, perfect. All right, Charles, let's get this started. 1 second here. Let me just make sure we got this going. And double check and make sure I got this live. All right, so we're good, Charles. I'm going to get us started now. All right, so good evening, everyone. Apologize for the behind schedule this evening, but we do thank you for joining us for this interview on our contest winner of September. We're going to jump into that interview in just a second, but before we do that, I want to provide a little background about myself and a little background about this interview. As for myself, my name is O'Brien, and I am the CEO of the Dorian Way. I've been trading since the early 1990s. I actually started in high school, and just to make a short story or a long story short, if we fast forward, I eventually became a registered investment advisor and held the license 65 for registered investment advisors, held a license 3 for commodity pool operators, ran a hedge fund in a family office for over a decade. And once again, I'm currently the CEO of the Dorian Way, which is an options mentoring firm that specializes in teaching individuals how to trade options on a one-on-one basis. The Dorian Way is about helping people, at the very least, learn how to supplement their income. And for people who have bigger aspirations of being full-time trader, that's what we're about, helping people learn how to consistently make income. And we do that by demonstrating or allowing members to follow our trades through 3 different accounts. We have what we call an all speculation account, where we do all different type of trades. We have a bread and butter account, where we only trade options on indexes. And then we have what we call a 1 day a month account, where we literally try to trade once a month. And that account is for people with IRAs, people who work full-time jobs and really busy and don't want to make any type of adjustments, people that have a really conservative approach but still want to make a consistent monthly income of 2% or more. That's what those accounts are about. So, but we don't want our members to be robots. We want our members to learn how to trade for themselves. So we encourage members to step outside of the framework that we teach them and try to outperform. And so we reward members, or a member with the best performance month over month, with a monetary award of $100. And so the winner for September was Charles, and Charles has won the contest previously. You can go onto YouTube and you can see the first interview that we had with him. Tonight we're going to interview him again and try to jump into a little bit more deeper conversation. We'll go over some of the same questions just to set the framework again, but we're going to go a little deeper with Charles this evening. So Charles, how are you doing this evening?
How you doing, Mr. Brown? I'm great. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for participating again with this interview.
Yes,
You've been doing so well. You did, just to give people kind of a framework, you won a few months back, and during that time, I believe you had performance in the high 20s, and then in September you were just under 10%, and then you just let me know what you did in October. I think you were a little over 24% in October, so you have definitely been killing it and doing super well, even though you played both sides. You played the call side and the put side, and this market has been punishing people who play the call side recently, but you have continued to do well. So with that said, Charles, introduce yourself for us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, again, like where you live at, a little bit about your family, and just what you do for a living.
Okay, well, my name is Charles. Right now, I currently live in Pearland, which is the outskirts of Houston. I was born in Liberia, Africa, but most of my life I was raised in Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm a full-time hospice nurse out here in Houston, and then I just been trading for about 4 years now. And recently, about year and a half, I've been profitable, and I've been, just trying to get better and build up my capital for it.
Okay, okay, awesome. So, Charles, do you have kids? Are you
Yeah, yeah,
married?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a little girl, and I recently just had a little boy.
Oh, did you really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow, congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations. Wow, that's pretty cool. So your daughter's probably going to be around 4 soon, huh?
Yeah, next year she'll be 4.
Okay, okay. And how when did you have your son?
May 1st.
Oh, all right, awesome. Congratulations. I'm sure you're getting even less sleep now.
It's fine.
That's it's fine. That's pretty cool. It's always good to it's it's always cool to have a girl and a boy. So that's the best of the both worlds, which is pretty cool. With that said, Charles, tell us a little about your history of trading. You said you've been trading for about a year. What did you start doing initially? Walk us through your process of getting to the point where you opened up a trading account.
Yeah, so when I first started trading, I would say, I was open up Robinhood, just buying calls, buying puts, and
Mhm.
then I went towards Tastyworks, and then I just started buying iron condors, then understand the whole selling premium part, and then I
Mhm.
ventured into selling verticals, and then now where I sell weekly verticals, iron condors, and then also I do little strangles for
Okay,
the
okay. So
strangles.
when you started trading with Robinhood, was you buying shares? Were you buying calls, buying
Just
puts?
buying
What'd you
call
do?
options, mostly buying call options. Then the market will keep going up, and try to hit the home runs and try to hit a lotto, basically.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that did you started before the pandemic though, right? So you got in
yeah, yeah.
Robinhood. You
Way before the pandemic.
yeah.
Pandemic, yes. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So as I pointed out in the previous interview, Charles used to come to an in-person meeting that we had in Houston, and his daughter's around the same age as my daughter, and it's been a joy getting to know Charles over the last several years. Um, but Charles, you currently are trading on what platform?
Tastyworks.
Tastyworks. Okay. And is that besides Robinhood, is that the only platform that you've used in the past?
Yeah, yeah. Think of Swing, but I think I was just trading the paper account with that. I wasn't really seriously trading on that one.
Okay. Okay. And so when you were mentioning a little bit about your trading style, what type of products do you trade, Charles, on
Right
Tastyworks?
now, for weekly, I trade a SPX, NDX, and a RUT. And
Mhm.
I do around 7 DTE, 8 DTE weekly, and then you want me to go into details about how I put it on the strategy I use?
Yeah, yeah. Please do. So when you say the SPX that's the cash settled index, correct?
Right.
And the RUT is well, and you're doing this in a margin account, an IRA. What type of account you're doing this in?
Both I do both in my IRA and I do in my personal individual account. And SPX I put it on Mondays for 7 days. The RUT I put on Wednesdays for 7 days, and then the index I put on Fridays for 7 days. And usually,
Okay.
what I like to do is on a call side, I put I put an iron condo on the call side. I try to get around a 5 delta, and on the put side, I usually try to put around 10 delta.
So are you staying in these positions in your, let's just say for your IRA, are you staying in there for 7 days, or is it like you put it on Friday and you're out of it on Thursday, but it expires on Friday? How's that work?
Yeah, I mean, so just for the feel of it, but usually I stay in for the most part almost 7 days. Usually I get out on the 6th day if I'm profitable, right?
Okay.
And then I also have my stop loss. Usually if it hits around around 100 negative 100 percentage or 150%, then I'll roll
Mhm.
up the untested side and then see if the market will go back or reverse and correct itself. If not, when it wants to hit the 200%, which my stop loss. I just take out the untested side and leave it alone because before the trade ever happened, I already did a math and I just leave it at that because I usually when I go in the trade, I'm above 80% chance of probability of profit within it out of the three for every week.
Okay, so just for clarification for listeners and so forth. So when Charles first started, you were buying options. When you buy options, you are paying for an option, and usually the most you can lose is what you paid for the option. Now you are selling options and you're receiving the premium. You're on the other side. And for example, you're doing it in an SPX, right? And you're doing it on Friday that expires the next Friday, or when are you?
Mondays that expire on Monday.
Oh, okay, so you all right. So you're selling the weekly that's on Monday morning and it expires the next Monday. So you do take
Right.
some time. You do take some time weekend risk then, or is it expiring on the
Yeah, yeah,
Friday?
yes, for the experience, yes, for the experience, yes, yes, I do. And I
Okay,
try to
okay,
spread them out throughout the week. I'm just try to put each trade on the same day. So I try to
okay.
spread them out throughout the week. In case you know, one or 2 days, like this week, the market just ran up. This for the whole week, really went ran up. But most of the
Yes.
time, for the most part, even if it's the RUT and SPX, usually they correlate more than the NDX. NDX got more tech stocks. That if 1 or 2 days they run up, then the other one that's been out for 2 or 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
if it's profitable after initially the first 3 days, if
Mm-hmm.
a big move happen, I usually take my biggest loss on the first 3 days. After 3 days, then I'm usually in a safe zone based on the movement of the expected move, and then I usually get out about 6 7 days with almost 100% profit.
Okay, so this has been a really profitable type of strategy for you. So let's break it down a little bit more for the listeners and so forth. So you're doing a spread, and normally you're doing a call spread and a put spread. And what's the width of the spread typically, Charles?
Well, I would say that right now SPX, it just depends because my both accounts are different. I usually just
Mhm.
try to collect the premium. I try to collect at least right now 3 to 4% of my net leg. So
Mhm.
let's say if my account is 10,000, 4% would be what let me do
400.
them quick. Oh yeah, right, 400, right? No,
Mhm.
yeah, about 400, right? So I collect
Okay.
3 to 4% of that in total. So that'll be about 200 on the cost side, 200 on the plus side. So wherever way I could get that with the best efficient buying power I use, then I collect that. And then knowing that with that premium, I collect 3 or 4% of that, then 200% of that will be my stop loss based on the math, around 80% above 80% probability of profit. And then in the long run, hopefully, the math will work out for me.
So it all so doing sometimes you might do a 10-point widespread, a 20-point widespread. It all depends on how much you can get based on your account size.
Yeah, I do try to reduce the width of it because I don't want to be too wide. So I know
Okay,
the risk.
okay. And so are you doing this, is it a certain delta level that you're doing this at as well on like for on
Yes.
the call and the
So
put side?
yes, on the call side, on the short side, the short part, or not the call side, the short side of the call side, I
Uh-huh.
usually try to get around 5 delta, and on the put
Mhm.
side, I try to get on the not more than 10 delta, because
Okay, all
usually
right.
the
So
market will go up more, so I skew more on the put side.
okay, so makes sense. So the market has a tendency to drift up. So Charles is selling usually a 5 delta on the call side and a 10 delta on the put side. And it's kind of skewed. It's a little bullish, which is great, and that's probably how you've been surviving for the most part especially the last 30 days, right? These last 30 days have been brutal for the upside. This week has been interesting.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy. This
yeah,
moment,
yeah.
yeah. I ended up
So
I'd be out profitable.
so contract, it's not, you don't base it on how many contracts as well. You base it on if you're getting a certain percentage of your entire account.
Then, like, yes, because
Okay.
I'm based on how much I'm a risk. I'm on my risk tolerance, right? So I don't want to risk
Mhm.
more than 7% on one position. That's how I
Mhm.
take my risk. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So you mentioned that in an IRA account, you don't have margin, but are you using margin in your individual account?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I am.
And okay, do you ever do anything outside of spreads, or do you do something
Yeah. So
naked or anything
yeah.
like that?
I recently started doing strangles on futures. So
Mm,
I put on like mini S&Ps, wheat, the bond, 10-year bond future, And what I usually do with that, my strategy with that is around 4 to 5 days to expire, take off 21 days or 50% profit, and then also stop loss at 200%. And then if it goes against me, like I said, if it goes against me around a negative 100% or negative 150%, which around that time it'll be around the 20-30 delta, then I'll roll up the other side and just let the math play out.
Okay,
And then
so
once I hit the 200%, just close it out. I lost. Just keep going.
so Charles, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to show someone. I'm going to show. I'm going to kind of give a demonstration. So this is the futures that's trading right now. We have a tiny bit of red in the ES, the NQ. That's the ES is the S&P 500. The NQ is the Nasdaq, and then this RTY is the Russell 2000. And what Charles is doing is normally he's doing the, let's say, the XPX like this, and you're going out 7 days. We're not going to be exact here, everyone, because we don't have a 7-day here, and we're not doing this on a Monday. But you would do something like this, and you said on the call side you're probably selling something at the 5 delta, and let's just say you're doing a 20-point wide here. And then on the put side, you might go no higher than a 10 delta. So let's just say that's 20 points as well. And so it'll look a little bit like this. And then you will try to collect how much of your account? Did you say about 10% of your account you try to collect?
Yeah, 3 to 4%. Yeah.
3 to 4%. Okay. Is that how much you risking, or you're trying to collect 3 to 4%? So if you have
okay. Yeah, no, half of that, yes, because I'm risking 4%, so that'll be around 2.5 to 3%. I'm risking total, so half of the 3 to 4%. Right, correct.
Okay. So perfect. So
because I'm risking that much total for each position on my based on my net leg.
Okay, all right. So you really don't want to lose. Let's just say for a $10,000 account, you really don't want to lose more than 400.
Right.
All right, so not bad at all. All right, so let's continue, Charles. And can you tell us a kind of ballpark figure of how much you're trading with, so we can kind of get an idea?
Yeah, so my Roth is below 50,000, then my individuals are almost close to 10,000 now.
Okay, perfect. So your Roth is a pretty good size. So that's why you've been having some really good performance in that one, which is pretty cool. And then 10,000 is great too. Everyone, you have to starting with 10,000. If you can grow a $10,000 account, and then as you get more capital, it's definitely linear. You'll be able to
easier.
Yeah, it's easier. More capital you have, the easier it is. So if you can be successful with a small account, you should be able to duplicate that with a large account, at least up to a certain extent. So Charles, tell us how long you've been a member, and tell us how of the Dorian Way, and how has the Dorian Way helped shape the current trading that you're doing, or help you kind of perfect it a little bit, if at all.
Yeah, I believe I've been with you for like 2 years now, probably, and it's just when I first started trading, I didn't understand the whole aspect of selling premium, like insurance, and then when I joined you, then it clicked for me. That's when I got out. Okay, that's what I need to do. Then I started different ways to trade, and then I just perfected a certain way that I trade, and I used your method, and then research other methods, and then I put it within my own style.
Okay, cool. So are you trying to hit a certain percentage each month, or it just organically happens? Because you seem like you're hitting 20% a lot.
Yeah, I don't have like a certain percentage. I just try to I'm just honestly trying to be profitable, and that's the way to go. Yeah. And then like I told you before, I tried the 0 DTE, then I tried 2 to 3 to ZD DT, and then I had a little hit that month in like August or July. Then and then that's when I figured out, okay, the way I trade with that short amount of time, I don't have enough time to be to adjust fast enough or let the time play. And I found like the golden spot was around 7 to 8 DTE. That's why I knew, okay, the math works for me, and I'm able to adjust and still have time to be correct.
Okay, so awesome. So you kind of morphed into it. You started with the 0 DTE, now you're at the 7 days DTE, and this has been more consistent for you. And you take losses a little sooner now. I think you were mentioning earlier something about
Yeah,
okay.
so when I'm down, I adjust a little sooner when I'm down before it gets to my full stop loss that I'm expected to close the whole position at.
Okay. And so are you managing this with a through like on your mobile phone at work, or how do you do it? Is it a
Yeah.
stop loss that you put in automatically? How do you operate?
No, so most of the time when I put a position, I put alerts to kind of see based on a delta, like if it moves to this amount, then I get alert. Okay, if this position hit a certain alert sign,
Mm-hmm.
or I wake up in the morning, look at my phone or my tablet, and if it
Mm-hmm.
goes against me, then I just starts to go against me. I roll up the untested sign and then just monitor it, and once it
Mm-hmm.
hit that certain percentage, just close it up, and just don't try to be so emotional with it. Just let it go.
Okay. So this I know is your bread and butter type of strategies, right? Are you doing any other type of strategies out there? I know you say you're starting to do some
Yeah.
strangles, which is pretty which is interesting, right? Are you enjoying it, or is it?
I mean, yeah, it's just because I'm so used to the 70T, it seems like it takes forever to be profitable. And I realized in the starting week or two, you're in a negative the whole time, basically. And sometimes you have to even invest earlier before you stop getting green. And then the
Mhm.
last like two weeks, then you become profitable. Which I mean, it's fine. It's going okay. I'm just not used to having a way. I'm so used to 3 or 4 days. Okay, I'm good. Next trade.
Yes. You millennials, you guys like that instant gratification, boy. It's
I
that,
like
that
I need that in my strategies also.
yeah. What about any crypto? Are you doing any cryptocurrencies or anything like that?
No, I stay away from gambling so much. I feel like it's more gambling. This I just understand the math. The math, I put the
Mhm.
math in. I know what it is. I know the stop loss. It's just all calculated for me. I don't have to really think about it at this point.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. That's pretty cool. So Charles, last time you told us your biggest loss, it was recent.
Yeah.
Back then we did your interview and so forth. You mentioned your biggest gain and things like that, but your gains are big percentage wise month over month, but you usually have pretty consistent type of gains each week or something like that, perhaps. I'm
Right.
assuming. Right?
Yeah.
So like, a big week for you is what? Like, 3,000 or
Yeah.
$1,000 or what?
2 to 3 thousand possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a
Okay.
pretty.
All
Yeah.
right. And that's pretty awesome. That's nothing to sneeze at. That can be an amazing way to grow an IRA or an individual margin account. And if you can get that compounding part, that's great. Are you adding any additional capital to your accounts?
Well, not recently on my individual, but yes, I try to add a little bit more every month for my individual account. My IRA, I just usually add the total in once a year for my IRA.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so whatever they allow you the max is at that time. So Charles, tell us what has been your most challenging thing of learning how to trade, and then give us some kind of advice for people who are new and want to get into trading.
Yes, so the most challenging thing about trading is trying to keep your emotions in check, right? So once you
Mm,
learn how to trade, you know how to trade, you know the terms, you know how to put the trade on. It's when you're gonna lose, because you will lose, right? So the
mm,
more challenging part is when you see the loss and recognize the loss and just let the trade go. It's
mm,
harder than said and done. That's the hardest part about trading, right?
mm.
So once you
That,
learn how to keep your emotion and then take the loss early and just let it go and just know the
mm.
math through the long term will play out, then you become profitable.
Okay, I agree. I was talking to someone today, and it was like sometimes, taking a loss is the best decision, but it's so hard to do. And
So
people,
hard.
yeah, you got to train yourself, and it becomes easy. It's like,
Yeah.
and this,
And advice what I say is
and,
once you for taking a loss is once you get a trading plan, like
mm,
make it so simple like what I did, right? So once I know when it hit a certain a negative percentage, I
mm,
just wrote up on Tesla side to a certain delta, which I usually do around to the 10 or 15 delta max, and then
mm,
and then if they keep going against me once they hit 200%, then not just close the tested product and leave it alone. Don't add more, don't do anything else, because before the trade already started, you already put the whole probability of the trade in there, and it went against your probability. So just let it go, and then let the rest of the trade play out, take that loss, and then just go on for the next trade, and then start the whole process again. That's the advice I would say. Once you learn it, make it so simple that you don't put emotion into it. You keep it simple, and then it'll make your trading a lot easier and more efficient.
Man, that's some excellent advice, Charles. Some excellent advice. If you trade like Charles, that's excellent advice. And if you don't, that's still excellent advice. Whatever plan you create, you want to make it as simple as possible, because the more complicated or complicated you make it, it's going to be hard to follow, and you're not going to perhaps be successful with it. So great advice, Charles. All right. So anything else you want to add before we conclude this evening, Charles? We got about a minute left.
I mean, just to say thank you again, and you already know this month is another winning month for me.
Yeah, October was nice, and so far you're starting off November, December.
This month, it's been
it's 4 days to go, and if this month, this 4 days in, and this week has been brutal to the upside. But you got 3 more weeks to.
3 more weeks.
Yes. So, Charles, I super appreciate you doing this again. This is going to help a lot of people in the process of trying to be successful trading. I do appreciate you, and let's keep it up.
All right.
Awesome. Good night, Charles.
Good night.